So we're continuing to see a sort of fracturing or a balkanization, for lack of a better term, of the Republican Party. And I mentioned this earlier, and I want to spend a little more time on it now. You always used to sort of have three wings of the Republican Party. You've got that pro-business, low-tax wing that may have been socially conservative, but they didn't really care too much about the social issues, exemplified by people sort of like Mitt Romney, although Romney, as a Mormon, it also seems to be a social conservative, but maybe less so than some of the others. But it's the pro-business, low-tax wing. You then had the libertarian right, so-called the pro-liberty wing of the Republican Party, exemplified by people like Rand Paul and others of that ilk. And then you had the more extreme evangelical religious right of the party, which was exemplified by folks like, I don't even know, Louis Gohmert, Ted Cruz, people like that, where they may have had conservative economics beliefs, but really their worldview was informed along the lines of social issues and by religion. Trumpism caused a sort of realignment in which the simplified factions became pro-Trump Republicans and anti-Trump Republicans, at least during the Trump era. And you had pro-Trump Republicans from all three of those factions and anti-Trump Republicans from all three of those factions as well. Sometimes it was less about anti-Trump, but just kind of like Trump skeptical or Trump agnostic in some sense. We are now seeing the pro-Trump side further fracture into people who are pro-Trump but realize that the cartoons of the party, like Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, these are bad for them. And then you've got the pro-Trump people doubling down and supporting the Gaetz and the Marjorie Taylor Greenes and these types of people. This weekend, there was an event that I guess was part of the America First tour, at which Matt Gaetz spoke and Marjorie Taylor Greene spoke. And not only are the events themselves absolutely insane, the interviews with the attendees are even more outrageous. This took place at The Villages in Florida, a real Trumpian enclave. So first off, without even getting into the substance, it's a crowded room with Matt Gaetz signs, with Queen's "We Are the Champions" blaring. I can't imagine Queen as a band or any of the band members would find any common cause politically with these clowns. I'm not even playing the audio because of copyright reasons. Okay, so the whole setup is crazy. Then Marjorie Taylor Greene speaks, and she is still going on about the so-called perfect Trump phone call.
Because the Democrats impeached President Trump over a perfect phone call, by the way.
These are parodies of themselves at this point. A skit of what such an event would look like would be no different than the actual event. Matt Gaetz then portrays the entire FBI investigation into his possible child sex trafficking as nothing but a politically motivated witch hunt, which ignores that the investigation started when Donald Trump was president. And then he actually praises the completely discredited Project Veritas. Like whatever crazy thing you imagine they could say, they said all of it at this event.
We have a right to confront our accusers in this country. How about that? There can be no due process here if the only process due to conservatives is to see leaks embroidered onto lies, then just endlessly repeated by the America Last media. I hope you guys show the 1,000 people outside that wanted to be in here to hear this message. But there are sometimes exceptional journalists who turn the cameras onto the liars. And in that vein, let me say, thank God for Project Veritas.
So there is no reason, there is no common sense, there is none of it to be found anywhere here. And as you can probably tell, it is not exactly an event with deep political theory presented or philosophical thought or anything like it. For me, the best part is the interviews with the attendees. Listen to this interview with a couple outside the event.
You guys both genuinely believe the election was stolen.
Yes.
I mean, that's, if you believe that that's true, that is...
Isn't that horrible?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know
that
it
is
is.
horrible.
Is it
So-
horrible that we would even be in the situation to even think that?
But it's false.
No, it is not. Why would they have all those ballots hidden under tables? Why did that man drive that truck all the way across state lines?
It wasn't.
All of those ballots under the table. Why did that man drive across state lines? What? What? And the reporter tries telling them this stuff has been debunked. It makes no difference. Take a look.
Like
With ballots.
the ballots under table thing with Giuliani and Georgia, that's all been proven to be false.
It
no?
has not. I watched it on TV.
Listen, that's pretty watertight, you know? She saw it all on TV. That's all there is to it. And of course, where on TV is a relevant question. Was it on Newsmax before Newsmax got the lawsuit threats and had to apologize and take back a lot of what they said? Was it on Fox News's Lou Dobbs show before he had to apologize and ultimately was kicked off the air for the constant propaganda, debunked propaganda that was being spread? We don't know where on TV she saw it, but we've got some pretty good guesses. I saw Mr. Ed on TV. I believe horses can talk. Change my mind. It's right there. You can see it. How does this all get dealt with at a systemic level? That's the question I've been asking for some time. And I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer, but it is really bad. And these people vote. It's their right. I'm not suggesting we take that right away. We just have to understand the reality that many of these people vote. Some don't, but many do.